Welcome back to Talkin to Teachers, presented by the CBA Digital Network. My name is Nicholas Harari, and I'm here with Mr. Mazzaccaro, CBA's Athletic Director. Mr. Maz, how you doing today?
Doing great. Friday morning. We just had our Accepted Students Day, so couldn't be better. Looking forward to the future of the Academy.
I agree with that. I was there last night. It was packed house, probably 500 plus people. It was an awesome experience. A lot of great speeches. So I'm excited for the new class to come. Would you mind explaining your origin story at CBA?
Yeah, so I actually, kind of my history with CBA goes, I guess I would say all the way back. I actually used to come to Christmas Eve Mass when I was, from 1 to 15 here at CBA. I have a great uncle who's a Christian brother, so CBA's campus was always kind of part of my life, especially around the holiday season. I went to St. Leo's originally, so on the same road, so I've gone to Catholic school my whole life growing up. So CBA was the natural progression of that. When I came to CBA, I ended up getting involved before I even went to any classes with the cross-country track and field team. That became a huge part of my life. So that was kind of, that's what brought me into the CBA fold. And then, I had an amazing 4 years at CBA.
That's awesome. And so you've been, since then, athletic director for the 4 years.
So I graduated here. I went to college. I worked completely different in financial industries for a year after college. And I came back, and for 4 years, I was a history teacher, club moderator, cross-country track and field coach. And then for the last 4 years, I was still a history teacher. I wasn't able to keep coaching, but I became the athletic director.
And what made you want to become the athletic director? I mean, CBA, we have probably one of the top athletic programs in New Jersey, which kind of makes sense along those lines. But what was the pull in that you're like, I want to be in this position?
Yeah, so I think, obviously, athletics did so much for me in my life. It was able to be a springboard, not only for having an amazing experience in high school and meeting amazing people, some of my best friends or who I met in athletics, but it also taught me so many life lessons and was able to really propel me. So that appealed to me in the sense of being able to, affect so much, hopefully positive change, but be able to offer and augment and help the experience our student athletes were having. So I think what's impressive to me is, though, every job here at CBA has the ability to do that, but this was kind of a new challenge. And what I like about CBA is I was still able to do the things I love doing here. So I was still able to teach a history class. I still was able to be club moderator. Even in the first year, I still coached. So I didn't feel like I had to give up anything to gain something. So that was kind of part of it. And I've loved, being the athletic director, watching our athletes compete. I mean, highlight of my day is, sometime around 3:34 when, practices start or games start. It's just awe-inspiring to get to see the campus, I really say, come to life. After school, we have, throughout the year, 500 to 600 kids participating in athletics. So it's really amazing.
Majority of the kids at CBA participate in athletics, and even those who aren't able, like the more competitive sports like wrestling and basketball and baseball where they do cuts, there's a ton of other sports like rugby and cross country that don't do cuts, and you're actually able to, work up in. And I just love that aspect of the academy. There's just so many sports to play. Yeah,
certainly, and I think that's important. Something priority of mine as the athletic director is to always have opportunities for kids that want to, work hard and improve and learn those life lessons. You can learn so much about yourself in any sport, right? So a lot of that is like, a sport like rugby has been incredible for CBA. We're one of the top teams in the state. You go out there and you see 80 to 90 guys, getting after it and just bettering themselves. And I think that's really awe-inspiring.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree with that more, specifically with me in wrestling. Our wrestling team is pretty good this year, and I've been behind a couple of good guys, but what the sport has showed me is to be disciplined in my work and continue working hard in the room and just, nonstop and continue putting in that work, and eventually the results will show. Although I may not be on the varsity roster this year, I just keep on putting in that work for next year, and I, continue with the hard work and discipline. And
Yeah. So, you might not be shooting the double at 30, but, at 30, you're going to take those skills that you learned in the wrestling room, right, and apply them to whatever your passion is at that moment. So,
Exactly. And considering the winter sports season is coming to an end, do you have a recap on the highlights of the winter sports season?
Yeah, I mean, so the beauty of CBA is we have so many high-level sports, right? So, every sport has, I'm sure the most memorable game, right? I mean, as a school, right, we were at the Founders Cup. That was an amazing experience. We have packed gym, 900 people in the gym. The Colts take home the Founders Cup trophy. So when I think of community building events, that's something I think of, right? But then I went up to Del Barton to watch the wrestling team, right? And it didn't go our way, but to me, that's still a highlight. We saw top-level talent, right? That's what you go to fight those teams up on the mountain, right? You go up there to see just how do you stack up, not the best in the state, the best in the country, and just watching our guys go out there and compete. So to me, in the broader perspective, like, it doesn't always end with a state championship, doesn't always end on a win, but are you further at the end of the season about who you are and about who the team was at the end and the beginning? And to me, that's the highlight of every team we have here. They were further. I mean, look at our fencing team, ranked 5th in the state for 8 weeks in a row, an undefeated season. That's amazing, right? That's a team coming together and that's fighting. Just had the swim team sectional championships. Just fought their hearts out against St. Augustine. We still have hoops live. We still have wrestling individual states. That'll be down in Atlantic City. We have hockey's live. I may have said hockey. Yeah, we have hockey. Yeah. Hockey on Monday, hoops on Monday. And then we have wrestling live, and track and field actually won a state championship. Yes. They won 2 this season. So everybody's, firing on all cylinders and just getting to see the kids come together. I mean, the true highlights are when you see like track and field push the state championship trophy. There's so many different guys, so many different disciplines all working together as one to become something greater than themselves. So, I mean, highlights all over the place, and some awesome memories. And, my only hope is that the kids had as much fun doing it as I did watching them.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a great season. I think it just builds on the community, like going back to the Founders Cup game. If you look at the stands, I've never seen a student section as big as those Colt Crazies, and I just think we're able to bring that in through the lens of basketball, but having all the guys together. I think the basketball team in part won because of the Colt Crazy, just because of the energy they brought. And I know specifically for, considering I'm a wrestler against Southern, having those guys there was really big and, moving forward the guys and actually able to get those wins and the energy they had.
Yeah, I mean, the Southern match was absolutely electric. I mean, that gym, the rise and fall. I mean, I think it was probably less than 2 hours. It felt like 4 of just battling back and forth. The highs of CBA. Getting together a bunch of those lower weight class wins. The moments in between, right? I mean, it was amazing. I mean, the Colt Crazies being there just added so much to it.
Completely. And I just think that aspect is so cool in CBA.
And I think another thing, not to but just to be additive, is, and I know you're part of the digital network team, is getting to share that with our broader community. Our swim coach was like, I watched the whole wrestling match online. People, it is bigger than just the gym. And I think that's what's so important is sometimes we feel like we're just in this space and it's who's there, but so many people are watching from home. And I think that specifically for our indoor sports or winter sports season is so unique that it's bigger than the gym. It's the whole community. And we get people texting all the time. And I think wrestling is one of the most unique sports for that because, hey, people might not be in the gym constantly or know what's happening, but the live stream for wrestling is amazing. And, specifically on that one with Southern, I got so many people that were watching, tuning in, so it was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we have thousands of people on the stream, so it's, like you said, not just in the room. There's people everywhere watching, people across the country watching the wrestling team, so it's awesome. It's such a unique experience considering I do the play-by-play or color for wrestling, so it's such a unique experience. It's awesome to be a part of. Let's go a little bit outside of being an athletic director.
All right.
What are you involved in outside of being athletic director? I know you mentioned business. What do you want to?
So I have in the business element, I have a running camp that I started operating. And so I'm taking a step back from that, but I also am the meet director of a middle school cross-country meet. So I was able to kind of, when I was a young coach especially, find these other ways. In college I actually ran a laundry service. So we would, my best friend and I, We were the managers of the laundry agency, so we had 200 clients, picking up laundry every other, on Mondays and Thursdays and dropping it off. All of our friends worked for us. We go drop off the bags. I'd have to do some laundry every once in a while. So that was a really cool experience because you saw like, oh, this is cool. I could pay my friends. I can make money, right? And so that entrepreneurial spirit was something that I really enjoyed. I mean, even when I was at CBA and, probably can't do this. But my buddy Phil and I, we actually realized we were hungry all the time after practice. So we would get back and make peanut butter and fluff or peanut butter and jelly sandwiches after practice and like try to sell them for $1 or $2 to people. So like I worked in the cafeteria when I was here at CBA. So it's always been kind of something in mind of like, what's the thing you could do just outside of what you're doing, if you're already there. And so my passion was running. So for a long time at running camp, where we sleepaway camp, meet director of these meets. So that was really fun. Running's a huge part of my life. My wife and I run most mornings. So that's awesome. That's a great way to get the day started. And then other than that, I grew up in the area, so I have a lot of friends. I like going surfing. I live pretty close to the beach, so that's been a passion of mine. That's something. What's been cool, I think, about being in a school is you're around so many learners, right? We're trying to tell the kids constantly learn. So a lot of the hobbies I've picked up, I mean, other than running, I didn't do before. So like I learned to surf at 25. I was doing jiu-jitsu for a while with Mr. Butler and Tomato. So I think that lifelong learner is something that I'm really into. I saw you had a Pure Vita shirt. I went to Costa Rica with buddies, and got totally slammed in the ocean. But it was a cool experience with a bunch of guys that we all went to high school together. We never surfed in high school together, and then went on a trip and surfed every day. So some of those things have been really, fun and awesome. So it's kind of finding different ways to hang out. I will say I spend a lot of Saturdays at CBA basketball or CBA events in general.
Of course.
So that is, it's fun though that my work and passion kind of all things CBA can mix. But in my free time, I like cooking. I like surfing when I can, going on runs, walks and all that kind of stuff. But
Awesome. And do you want to elaborate a little bit on the club you're involved in? You're the moderator of
the investment club. Yeah, so I'm the moderator of the investment club, which has been really fun here at CBA. So I've had different iterations of what I've done. I taught a business class last year, and I found that the club space during enrichment period for investment club is really fruitful with the kids. It's something that, I'll be the first to say sometimes I'll be teaching some subjects in world history that, they're not page turners to all the kids. But our kids are super involved and super interested in the financial industry. And so the investment club is, one area of that. Prior to this work, I passed the Series 7 test in 66, which gave me the knowledge and I guess the legal know-how to do some of this stuff. So it's been really fun to pass on that aspect of my life. I majored in history in college. So that's my passion. That's why I teach that. But getting to interact with the kids and also I learn from the kids just as much. Yeah. We have kids coming I saw this, what's your ideas on that? And so it's way more of a, kind of a flat structure of any idea is a good idea, right? We go down the rabbit holes where the kids want to go. I mean, the first day of the club is literally right on the board what you want to learn about. There's no curriculum. We're not
like you choose your own destiny.
Yeah, and now I have things our goal is to invest the school's money and, I would ideally make a better return than the S&P 500, which the kids have been very good at. I think, our students are on the cutting edge. They know it's going to be hot. But a lot of it is learning how to follow your passion because I think what we see, and this is in life, is I could go tell a kid, hey, I want you to go look at consumer staples industries. If they're super into, athletic gear, they'd rather just dive in on Nike, right? They're not looking to go look at Procter & Gamble stock. So, and they're going to know it better. And so that's one of my pieces of, this is not investment advice. But my thing is if you want to get involved in anything in life, it's easier to start with something you're passionate about. So if it's investing, start looking at companies that you're passionate about. You buy their products, you know them, right? Don't pick the, random oil stock you heard from your neighbor's cousin's brother. If you don't fill up your tank yet, maybe you don't know the oil industry, right? But if you love computers, right, and you think you know a ton about AI or chips or whatnot, right, find that, follow that passion. And if investing is part of that, use that as a way to know more than the average Joe, right? So
yeah, I agree with that. do what you're passionate about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think that's what's cool is that's a club where kids, I get to see them follow, just like athletics. Yeah. I get to see people pick something they're passionate about and follow it, right? Nobody's being made to come to the club.
And over the years, you've been here for a couple years. What's been your most fond memory of CBA?
So, I mean, my best memories, and I guess they're becoming more distant, but I loved coaching freshman cross country, and I love teaching freshmen. So, like, those are my memories. Is like it's just in freshman cross country. I used to joke around like every year I'd forget because you take a group of guys, right? I remember I was a freshman and like they bond and you grow so much, and then the next year it's like you're reminding people how to tie their shoes to run and stuff, and it's an experience that reminds me constantly of how much we have to offer others, right? Not only freshman teammates and coaches, you could offer that knowledge, but also how much like you learn each time. You don't take things for granted. You don't say, "Oh, everyone already knows this and stuff." And so I love my time as freshman cross and getting to see kids run their fastest or win. I mean, going to Jamesburg Park for the freshman states cross country championship and like getting the team together and be like, "This is our state championship," because it's the first time. Like the pressure's there, but it's just real and authentic in a way that like I think sometimes as we get older, there's all this other stuff going around. So I love coaching freshman track and field cross country. Those are some of like my most like fond memories of just really getting to go enjoy it and be part of it.
Authentic.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like sometimes as you get older, it's like there's the gamesmanship, there's all this other stuff. But yeah, and I find the same passion. I'm teaching freshman history, world history this year, and it's just awesome to find that discovery and all of that process. So those are and then like. There's awesome memories like winning at the Prudential. So like there's those obvious highlights of like my job now where you just get to see these awesome moments. Like I'm even hoping I just told Paul and Killian like I bought my tickets for AC. So like there's constantly these like memories that I'll never forget. And I think that's the beauty is every season here at CBA, I have a memory of every sports team, right, that I won't forget. But something that was, truly powerful in my life and I think helped me develop was getting to coach that freshman team and like I'll never forget. And those kids, like as a coach, even more so than my job, you're able to form these relationships that are, they're awe-inspiring. Like it's awesome to see somebody grow. And then I think about a guy John Gearin. I remember coaching him. He comes back. He works here, and so it's a really cool relationship.
That's awesome. And last question I have for you. I want to see what you come up with on the spot.
All right.
If you could give any advice to the student body and faculty, what would that be? And I know you've given a lot of great advice already, but the biggest piece of advice to end off this podcast.
Yeah, I don't want to sound redundant, but it's follow your passion, right? It's find something you love and pursue it to wherever you want it, right? So as a teacher, I love teaching freshman world history, like I do. And so, sometimes it'll be like, hey, do you want to teach this? I'm like, I want to teach this, right? So I pursue my passion of that, right? I think, and so whether you're, 70 years old teaching here, try to teach that class you're passionate about constantly, because I think when you really love doing something, it's not that it doesn't feel like work. Like, we woke up, came early today, we were here late last night. I'm not going to say this is, but I'm passionate about this. So once you get going, you kind of forget about, I wish I was in bed or something like that, right? And so to me, it's follow the passion. And as a backup to that is passions can evolve. Like, don't think because, and this is specifically for our younger students, like, I don't know, I tell this story all the time. Like, my passion at one point was basketball. I didn't play basketball here. So if I wasn't open and willing to evolve, like, that could have been a tough moment, right? So much of it is being open to the new possibilities of the future, but following your passions there and find what your through line is.
Yeah, coming into CBA, my passion was wrestling. And, considering how talented our team was, I wasn't able to start on the team, but that evolved into covering wrestling, being the color guy, and I've found so many more new opportunities in that I could either do in college or a hobby when I get older. And it's just, so many things open up when you are open to new possibilities in your passion, of course.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, being able to do it right, being able to mix those two is just so much more fulfilling. Because now it's like, you're really good at two things, right? Like I listen to your color commentary, like it's your knowledge and passion of wrestling allowed you then to jump into this other space, and certainly you're a charismatic guy, you're very talented, but like then immediately be someone of effect and change in that, right? And I think that's what's so cool, right? There's always the road to say like, oh, I'm just gonna like, no, wrestling's my thing, and that's all I'm gonna, and that's fine. Like you'll get better and you'll do all these things, but by incorporating other parts of your life, and I think that's what I'm saying is like, find a way. Like I worked a job that was in investments. I'm still passionate about it, but I have a club once a week, right? So you can kind of follow that, and you keep these things in your life. And I think that's kind of part of it. Is there's also like when people talk about like, oh, growing up, sometimes like you have to grow up. You can't. Well, no, like growing up means like finding the right place for it, right? Like I can't go. I had to come to work today. I can't go surfing, right? Like there's a certain part of being an adult, but at the same, right. But at the same time, when I have a free weekend, like fit it in and text your buddies in advance and that kind of stuff. So don't shed things just because you're getting older, but keep those passions alive and
Of course. Well, Mr. Maz, it was truly a pleasure to have you today on the podcast. Truly a pleasure. So much great information, just great advice in general. And I couldn't agree with you more on that. Just stick with your passion, do what you love.
Yeah, no, Nicholas, I appreciate you having me on. I've, listened to the podcast. It's awesome. Everything you guys do here is great, So I look forward to following you guys and seeing, you follow your passions.
Thank you very much. And that is all for now. We will see you next time.